Hey everybody, Tricia Brouk here, founder of the Big Talk Academy, award-winning director and author. I am so excited for this next series of the Big Talk on my YouTube channel. We have 17 speakers who spoke at the Big Talk Academy's virtual showcase, and each one of them is unique. Each one of them is incredible. They all bring a very special idea to the table, and they all deliver in a very powerful and unique way. I am super excited for you to be introduced to each speaker from the Big Talk Academy's January 7th virtual showcase. Enjoy. Dona Edwards, who has worked in the legal field for over 20 years, most recently in-house at corporations as an executive and senior counsel. She was responsible for driving the global intellectual property strategy, including protecting and monetizing innovations, developing a legal department, managing litigations, and providing general legal advice and counsel. Dona Edwards with Reimagining Business School can bring humanity back to corporate America.
I can't breathe. Is my face drooping? My face is numb. I'm lying in a bed in the emergency room. Did I have a stroke? I must have passed out. 4 of my coworkers are standing around me, including my boss. Oh my gosh. I must have disrupted the holiday lunch. How long has it been? It's 5 p.m., 6 hours. As I reflected over the last 24 hours, I realized I had my first massive anxiety attack because I did not get the promotion that I deserved and worked so hard for. The promotion that my boss and I sat down and set extra hard objectives and even more tasks so that the higher ups would have no possible reason to deny my promotion. I gave value to the group. I was already working at 2 levels higher than my title, 2 titles higher than my position. I knew with every cell in my body that I did not get the promotion because of the color of my skin. This was one of many defining moments of my corporate career where I suffered not only because of my color, but also because of the lack of belonging in corporate America. For decades, corporate America has been striving to move the needle with diversity and inclusion at all levels of the workplace. Companies are increasing diversity initiatives by hiring minorities, hiring chief diversity officers, and forming affinity groups. Yet Black talent is still leaving in droves because they feel they do not belong. This was my experience. I worked in corporate America for almost 25 years, first as an engineer and then as an attorney. Because of the type of law I practiced, I was almost always the only Black person and the only woman in the room. What I thought was an opportunity turned out to be very isolating and lonely. During the formative and critical early part of my career working in law firms, the plum assignments were non-existent There was little client contact, and I formed a relationship, and I did not form a relationship with a mentor. Inevitably, I would leave because I never felt included or part of the team. Going to corporate America was no easier. I was passed over for promotions, seldom invited to lunch or anything else outside of the office where the real bonding happened. I remember those days sitting at my desk, feeling invisible, that most of my coworkers knew nothing about me other than I was their attorney. While I knew whether they were married, had kids, what schools they attended, they were not curious about me. I was excluded, not included. I could sense my coworkers' discomfort with me because of my skin color. I had to make them feel comfortable. I had to assimilate. It was just so exhausting, not to mention demoralizing. In 2015, when I was 46 years old, I decided to go back to business school to build my business acumen. I remember the excitement and anticipation I was feeling. To my surprise and disappointment, my experience in business school was more isolating than my experiences in corporate America. I was the only Black woman, but this time I was paying for it. And then there was the meeting. My professor invited me to lunch to discuss converting my final paper into a case study. I was so excited. We spent about 3 minutes talking about my paper. Then he went on to tell me about his military experience. He was the leader of an all-Black platoon, and the white men in the camp did not call the men by their name. They just called them nigger. I was baffled, I was surprised, I was speechless. And believe me, back then I was never speechless. One of the clarifying moments of my experience in business school was at my graduation dinner. After 2 years of soft skill and leadership courses, my white male classmate sitting next to me said he still did not understand empathy and could not put himself in other people's shoes. It was both sad and eye-opening. And then it clicked. Corporate America has the same problem: no empathy. In the wake of George Floyd, the Black Lives Matter movement, and the COVID-19 pandemic, there is a sense of urgency to make a noticeable difference in diversity and inclusion. Just since June, job postings for Chief Diversity Officer have increased 55%. Similar to corporate America, business schools have opened their eyes to realize that steps need to be taken to increase diversity and make the student experience for Black and Brown students more inclusive. They have started many of the same initiatives for the student experience. Everyone is trying to figure out the best way to address diversity and inclusion in a meaningful way. And believe me, that within itself is a positive. Because corporate America and business schools are openly talking about making change. But these changes are superficial. There is an opportunity for business schools to change the trajectory of corporate America by thinking outside of the box and taking bold moves to be proactive. Business schools serve as a direct pipeline to corporate America and the students are our future business leaders. Business schools have required soft skills on leadership, ethics, and compassion. What a difference it could make to add a required course with a curriculum on empathy and compassion for others. I know, I am certain it would have made a different, it would have changed the experiences I had, as well as many of my friends who have left corporate America. Changing the hearts and minds of classmates takes more than a few examples of diversity inclusion given in business school. Acting with empathy and compassion for others will teach the importance of feeling like one belongs, connectedness, and real inclusion. Empathy is an important skill to have and requires critical thinking. It can be taught. We know it's impossible to step into the shoes of someone else and feel what they are feeling, but the effort is invaluable. It is not easy. You have to fight stereotypes and biases, but you should want to understand others. There must be a commitment to thoughtful dialogue, to ask the hard questions and address them with honest exchanges in safe spaces. It is very difficult to change the culture and environment of a company once it has grown and matured. It's like moving a glacier. Inclusion does not just happen. Imagine if the leaders of today and tomorrow enter or return to corporate America, understanding what it feels like to stand in someone else's shoes. As of August 2020, there was almost 900 business schools in 57 countries that are accredited, and more if you count unaccredited schools. What if we create a critical mass? The compassion for others and empathy will spread throughout the company, and co-workers will hopefully interact with each other in a positive, sincere way, be able to work more cohesively, respect each other, and even cheer each other on. And this will become the norm. I've experienced inclusion in my life. I know what it feels like and looks like. Growing up, I had a group of best friends of all different races, cultures, faiths, and ethnicities. Our relationships transcended studying and evolved into meaningful and rich friendships, and in some circumstances, romances. We celebrated our differences and introduced one another to our cultures. I never felt different. I always felt included. We didn't see color. We saw humans. Perhaps I was idealistic, thinking that the world would be like this, but that's all I knew. The last thing we should want is another Black talented individual ending up in the ER because of some kind of discrimination. Imagine leaders who have cultivated the skill of empathy in business school and are now in corporate America. They have the ability to gain a deeper and more meaningful understanding of what someone else is feeling and living or has experienced. Everyone feels valued for being who they are. People trust they can speak up and be treated fairly. Empathy facilitates belonging. Empathy facilitates connection. Empathy facilitates inclusion. empathy facilitates humanity. Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Big Talk Academy's virtual showcase supporting these incredible speakers. If you have the desire to speak on my virtual stage, go to thebigtalkacademy.com for more information. This is a 12-week certification speaker training program that is going to give you everything that you need to have the global impact you desire. And if you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you get access to all of our latest episodes. I love having you here, and I always respond to the comments. Big love.